So allow me to explain to you the mess that has preceded this video that you are now currently watching. We left the last episode with one question in mind, and that is, what does the future hold for our captain, Anze Kopitar? The options were, move on. Move on from the captain and trade him now, as cruel as that is. The next option, trade Austin Watson, which also would suck. Despite him having a down season, he's still been a multi-time 30-point scorer on the fourth line. But we move on from Austin Watson and mold that fourth line into something where Kopitar is going to be more likely to succeed, even if that means we wouldn't necessarily have more of a grind line for a fourth line. The comments left another option, which was to have Kopitar be a healthy scratch. Have him be the one person who's allowed to be a healthy scratch. So that led to the initial attempt to record this video, which ultimately I stopped because of extreme frustration, and allow me to explain to you as to why. So initially, the decision was made. Of course, we acquired Kalanos in the last episode, but initially, what I had done was look to spin the wheel. I left it up to a wheel spin to say, okay, am I allowed to scratch Kopitar? That wasn't allowed to happen. I failed that wheel spin, unfortunately. So I wanted to move him up to the third line and move Tyler Madden down. Unfortunately, Kopitar is not a fit on the third line, which then means I'd have to move him up to the second line and drop Rick Van Kadishin, which cannot happen. So that rules out the ability to keep Kopitar and bump him up, which sucks. So then the decision was, do I trade Austin Wagner? And again, that wasn't ideal, so I was stuck on what the hell do I do? And then there was the defensive side of things, where it was also postulated, we'll say, whether or not it was a good idea to go out and acquire another defenseman and move Marcus Phillips into a depth role and get a legitimate third pairing guy. So I dealt Cale Fleury to Montreal for Jake Gardiner, because Jake Gardiner, the scouting report flat out said, is a fit for the third pairing. I got him on the team, and he was not a fit for the third pair. So I dealt him and then said, fuck it, and stopped recording the video. I promise you, it said Jake Gardiner was a fit for the third pairing. I should actually be able to go back. You know what? Yeah, the recording would record. Here you go, on screen. There you go. Jake Gardiner, fit on the third line. And there you see how he wasn't a fit on the third line. Created a little bit more work for myself, but what are you going to do? So then I, as you just saw, dealt Jake Gardiner to St. Louis, and now the next day, here I am trying to pick up this recording and figure this shit out. Now, I had to know, I turned off Fog of War for the moment, and I wanted to look at Jake Gardiner, because initially I'm like, okay, well, maybe the scouting report wasn't accurate. I turned it off, and still it says he's a perfect fit for the third pairing, but he's not. So flat out, this game friggin' lied to me, which is wonderful, and was a major source of frustration on top of the Kopitar stuff. So it's interesting that we're a 40-win team barreling towards the playoffs, and I don't know what to do. Flat out, I don't know what to do. So ultimately, as we begin today's episode, I'm thinking, and yes, for the record, in this series, icings and offsides are still off. We'll double check the scoring again and see what we think as far as whether or not we should do that. But of course, it's on medium scoring to balance it out. Anyway, that's going back on. That's going back on. I don't know what the hell to do with this team, because now I don't have Cale Fleury. I didn't keep Jake Gardiner because he's not a fit. So this squad at the moment looks like this, with Kopitar still here, Corrali's in, and the defense looks the same. However, I did call up Juha Curry, because I think if I'm allowed to scratch Kopitar, I want to see what Curry can do on that fourth line next to Wagner and Luff. So it's just been a mess. And flat out, I'm just saying screw it. I'm keeping Anze Kopitar, but he's going to be a healthy scratch. We're going to technically break that rule. That's the one exception. I just don't care at this point. I just don't. Because that whole debacle with Jake Gardiner and it's saying, oh yeah, he's a fit for the third pairing, but he actually wasn't. The reason why it doesn't work is because he was actually a red X and an equal, or a minus, or call that what you will. It was one red, one yellow, which means that's a negative line. The only reason why it's not a negative line right now is because Marcus Phillips equals out Mo Marsh. Jake Gardiner was the only real non-defensive defenseman option to play alongside Mo Marsh, which is what we need. There was like Joel Edmondson, but you're not going to run Joel Edmondson or Adam Larson as a two-way. You're just not going to do it. Phillips can get away with it, barely, but he can get away with it. He's also a beast, extremely physical player. He'd probably be better suited for a defensive defenseman, but he's done well to pick up 14 points without power play time. So unfortunately, I might have to completely redo these lines because I went best lines out of, not out of frustration, but when I traded Gardner. So we might just leave this as is. I am going to have to double check the power play. But I think what we're going to do, I'm going to say, screw it. Anze Kopitar is a healthy scratch. And defensively, Marcus Phillips is staying. He's staying. If we need help, I mean, screw it. Spence, Dursey, Patrick Van Allen, somebody has to get the job done. In terms of getting a legitimate third pairing guy, it's just not going to happen, unfortunately. Lord knows I tried. So with that, let's at least fix up this team for the moment. I might just leave the power play as is. But Matt Luff is going to be back in. And again, Anze Kopitar is going to be a healthy scratch in favor of one Juha Curry, who is having a great season in the AHL. I mean, hopefully a future star of this team, but in terms of him playing in a more physical fourth-line role, he can absolutely do it. So, that catches you up with everything. I think. I hope. I pray. But, like I mentioned, Tyler Madden, you can't drop him here. You know, I'll actually show you the Kopitar thing really quickly. I'm sure most of you don't care. You're just like, oh, okay, cool, whatever, no problem. This is for, like, the one person who might complain. But Kopitar is just not a fit for that third line. He's not. And then, like I said, actually here, let me recreate that third line. See, he's not a fit. So we'd have to drop Van Kadishin, and there's just no way. Like, this guy has actually developed. He's a 30-goal scorer. He's going nowhere. So, unfortunately, Anze just doesn't work. And it's not worth dropping Tyler Madden down to the fourth line, because that overall might be slightly artificial due to the morale system, and I don't want to risk him losing that. You know, sure, we get to keep Kopitar without bending or breaking a rule, but then we potentially tank Tyler Madden or Rick Van Kadishin's overall. Just not worth it by any stretch of the imagination. So this is going to be the team. The power play looks fine. I'm going to stick with that. It should be okay. The 4-on-4 lines, four-man power play. Oh boy, is there any way to fix this? Doesn't really look like it. It's fine for now. Then the penalty has Anderson, Nolan, Luff, Curry, Wagner. That also works. So we're going to see what this team can do. I might get in trouble for having flipped Jake Gardner, but at the end of the day, so be it. I really cannot be bothered to try and even mess with this team more than I already have in trying to record it. So that is why there wouldn't have been an episode yesterday. That's why there's an episode of each franchise mode series today to make up for that. But yeah, just incredibly frustrating. So we'll see. It might be a mistake to not bring in an extra defenseman. It might, technically bend the rules a bit too much to not get rid of Kopitar or Wagner. Again, I can't be asked right now. So with that, we absolutely crush the Chicago Blackhawks on deadline day, which is really good news for us. Of course, we are keeping an eye on our goals for the season. That is, of course, to make it to the second round of the playoffs, have our top line be over point per game, which is looking great right now, and have a winning record against San Jose and Anaheim. So again, I believe we have 3 games left. We need to win all 3 of those games, as we also beat Vancouver in a shootout for our 42nd win of the season. Excuse me. So let's see what we can do here against Calgary, and we should also be covering the first round matchup today. I mean, we're going to make the playoffs, barring a horrible collapse. But we do lose to the Flames there, which sucks. We're playing Ottawa. They haven't won a game in their last 10. We really need a win here. And Jesus Christ, we just get blown out. All right, we've lost 3 games in a row. Not ideal. We started off this episode wonderfully, and then go figure. Oh, Juha. We hit the month. Oh, my God. Okay. We hit the month of March, and now we can't do anything. Sean Corrali, you're going to get the opportunity as our fourth-line center right now. We're just going to see what you can do. But as it turns out, Juha Curry was not the answer. Didn't give him that much time, you could argue, but I mean, desperate times kind of call for desperate measures. 5 games, no points, a -4. You are not ready for prime time. I am kind of intrigued at calling up Alex True. We don't really know how good he is, though. I am going to call up Chris Wagner. He's kind of the perfect guy in case there's an injury to the fourth line that could fill in, on that fourth line spot. So just a brutal situation there, and hopefully that change can really help kind of jumpstart. Hill needs to be into the lineup. He's the only one that I'm really concerned about. Hopefully that change can help kind of kickstart a little bit of a winning streak here after we have been absolutely terrible for the past couple of days. So let's see. We play Calgary again coming up. Pretty big game for us. We're atop the division, but no longer. San Jose jumped us right as I said that. We beat Calgary 3-1. So again, neck and neck with the Sharks. It's going to be a very interesting race. We have 2 games at hand. We play New Jersey, 41-win Devils team. We lose 3-2. Not great. We play the 38-win Hurricanes. We lose 3-2. Okay, so this team is just going to choke in the month of March. Is that what it is? Colorado, 6-5 win. Winnipeg, 8-2 in their last 10. We win 7-2. Weird hockey right now. We have made the playoffs, though. 10 games to go. We play Florida. Horrible team this year. We win. So here we go. This is a huge stretch right here. We play the Ducks. We must win or we fail one of our goals for the season. It is a must-win game for us. We lose. So with that, we have failed at least one of our goals for the season. That'll be a third-round pick or a C-level prospect that ends up leaving the team. So the next game against San Jose really only matters for playoff seeding as we beat Washington in response. So this game here, they are on the same point pace that we are. We need to win this. We absolutely need to win this. We choked away our advantage with the games at hand. This has to be a win. San Jose is likely to win the division. We have choked that away. We've been a really good team this year. As Cale Clegg goes down, not ideal. Of course, we don't have Cale Fleury anymore because this game decided to just bold-face lie to me about Jake Gardiner. So that's great. Oh, boy. All right. I mean, it's got to be Dursey or Spence. It's got to be. I feel like Sean Dursey is kind of the perfect guy to give a chance to. He's been on this team the whole time. He just never really developed. He is listed as an offensive defenseman, which is just not great. That doesn't really suit who he is right now. But we'll go ahead and make that change. I'll have to double-check the AHL, but we'll rock with him right now. I am just going to go best lines. So what we're going to do... Wow, it has Grunstrom on the top line, huh? Don't recommend that. We are going to go with Nopitar out. Actually, let's take Corrali out, get Matt Luff in there. I haven't even checked to see how the fourth line's doing since we made that change. Let's actually take a look here. Not for Chris Wagner, but for Sean Corrali. Is that his AHL stats included? No, 22 games, 5 points a month. Okay, so he's kind of mitigated the damage a little bit. Matt Luff hasn't been great. I don't know what's been wrong with Austin Wagner this season. Turns out it might have been the right idea to trade him. That's just not ideal. But that line has been okay. But we definitely have questions about that fourth line heading into the back half of the season. So what I'd prefer to do here is put Anisimov with Dunn. And we'll have Bjorn Fott and Mo Marsh together. Phillips and Dursey, who kind of led the way in the AHL for quite a while. And then again, Wagner and Kopitar as the healthy scratches. It's fine by me. Let's go best lines there. That sees Allen back in. Actually, we're going to take out Hamonic at this point because that means Orr. We need to really see what we have with him. Still, I don't think he's that good, but it's at least worth checking. And Alex True, I'm actually going to take out of the lineup, and we're going to get... Actually, Hill's already in. That's perfect. He's on the left wing spot. Perfect. Let's see what happens. We did beat Edmonton. 2 points back of the Sharks. Did they win again? They did. We're now 3 points back of the Sharks, although we have a game at hand. Colorado, we win, which is huge, but San Jose managed to win again as well. Not great. I don't think we're going to jump them. We're likely to be playing the Vancouver Canucks in round 1. Vegas, we lose in overtime. The pity point will help, though. Albrecht is down to injury for Ontario. We're 4 points back. We need to win this just to try and have a chance. We need to win out. 7-2 win over the Wild. So 2 games left this season. Cale Clegg is back, which is nice. I'm going to have to go best lines again, unfortunately, though. And again, we'll fix this around. No problem. Except for the menu lag. Quick and easy. Again, we got to do this whole change. So I actually don't know what the 4th line is going to look like here. I mean, I guess I could ask, like, hey, am I allowed to scratch Austin Wagner instead of Nopitar to try and make it work? But obviously the exception was for Nopitar, and I probably shouldn't push my luck. As it is the Nopitar exception, I don't feel great about it. I gotta be honest. It does feel cheap to me. As it should. It's technically cheating the rules that we set because of convenience. But it was Nopitar being traded or the exception. Because I wasn't going to trade Wagner. It makes no sense to trade someone who could still be a staple on the team for a couple of seasons just for Nopitar on the brief chance we win the Cup this year. We're 2 points back of the Sharks. This is a must-win game or we are condemned to play the Canucks, and it is official. We simply could not keep pace. And right now, yeah, it is going to be Vancouver. I was going to say, like, wait a minute, what the hell happened? And then it changed to, like, Nashville. That doesn't make any sense. Yeah. We're going to be playing the Vancouver Canucks in round 1. We beat the Ducks to end the season. Everyone's on 82 games. Let's see how this went down. So again, a 51-win season is spectacular. It's just San Jose, the 1 extra win. I mean, the tiebreaker, they had the 1 extra win. We had the 2 extra overtime losses. That's what it came down to. Lost on damn tiebreaker. So again, San Jose will be playing Edmonton. We'll be playing Vancouver. And Calgary will be playing the Winnipeg Jets. You have Dallas and Nashville. St. Louis sucked. In the Atlantic, it's Toronto. Boston plays Buffalo. Florida sucked. As Toronto will be playing the Islanders. New Jersey will play Washington. Columbus will play Pittsburgh. The New York Rangers sucked. So we were the 2nd best team in the NHL. Unfortunately, we ran into San Jose. That is a real kick in the teeth. One of 3 teams to pick up 109 points on the season. And there were numerous teams who were not up there. That's for sure. Goals 4 per game. We weren't up there, unfortunately. So that really kind of shows that we did have offensive struggles this year. Defensively, though, we were the best defensive and goaltending team in the league in terms of goals against average, which is great. Our power play was at 26%, so it wasn't way up there, but it was decent. Toronto was at 38.4%. Jesus Christmas. The penalty kills, okay, so with the current standings, or the current sliders, yeah, a good penalty kill is anything over 75%, apparently. Damn. 6-3-1 stretch heading into the postseason. When it comes to the other goal for the season, which was to have every member of the top line over a point per game, Turcotte did it, Savoy did it, Genther did it, so that is accomplished. So guaranteed to not lose a first-round pick or an A-rated prospect this year by failing all 3 goals. The question now is, do we make it out of the first round? If we do, we lose a C-level prospect or a third-round pick. If we don't, we lose a B-level or a second-round pick, which is going to suck. But Alex Turcotte was great. Carl Grundstrom, you want to talk about somebody worth the contract? It's him. I mean, that is an incredible contract for him. Matthew Savoy was great. Again, Genther was great. Kapari was fantastic. He had his early struggles in this series, but he really turned it around. Rick Van Katterson scored 40 goals. Incredibly happy with that. Tyler Madden, again, it made no sense to get rid of him. Anderson Dolan and Alex Iafallo, great. Matt Luff, Wagner. I mean, they hit the point totals I want 4th liners to hit. It's just defensively, they were awful. And Anze wasn't much better. Corrali wasn't much better. I mean, again, like, he wasn't that bad. I mean, even a -7 for Luff isn't that bad. It's just Wagner kind of driving that line down this year. You could argue Corrali's not really the guy. I mean, there's got to be a way to potentially get Anze back into the lineup. But then it's Wagner, Kopitar, and who? You know, is it Curry just as a different kind of option? Like, it wouldn't be a grind line. It would be a 2-way line. But it's like, is that worth it with Wagner, Kopitar, and somebody else? I mean, it might be. That might have to be the answer. I'm not entirely sure. Defensively, Cale Clegg was great, 42 points. Vince Dunn, worth worth the price we paid for him, I'd say. Bjorn Fod had a pretty good season. Marcus Phillips was fantastic. So, I mean, as much as I tried to find a replacement for him, as much as I thought Jake Gardiner was going to be that guy, yeah, Marcus Phillips was great. Anisimov was really good, too. And Mo Marsh, I mean, not a big point getter, but he's solid, you know? It was worth leaving him in, I suppose, as compared to trying out somebody else. I'd say it would work. It was worth it, and we weren't really gonna be able to add him to anybody else or to any other trade to get somebody better than Vince Dunn. Vince Dunn was about the best we could get, and Sean Dursey did pretty well in relief on that third pairing there. So pretty happy with that. Goaltending wise, Carter Hart was great. I mean, very happy with that. Brandon Kalanos, once he got picked up, was very solid in his 4 appearances, .923 save percentage. So not too many questions about the goaltending heading into this. So I'm pretty pumped to see what we can do in the playoffs. Again, there might be some changes that we have to make to some lines as you look at the point totals. Again, I think some people argue, okay, too many 100-point getters. I don't disagree. We can turn icing and offsides back on if you want. Let me know down in the comments what you think. Is this too ridiculous for goal scoring, or what do you think? Just right, perhaps? But Besser, McDavid. Of course, the issue is when you have guys on, line combos, like obviously Bratt and Hughes are going to be able to work together extremely well. It's not surprising. Like Farabee and Brink will work together extremely well. Mikko Rantanen apparently ended up in Nashville and Tyler Benson in Boston. But Rantanen and Duchesne, they're going to be able to work together pretty damn well. But let me know what you think. I agree. The scoring's probably a little bit too high for the moment. Garrett Lannon killed it for Tampa, former #1 pick. Josh Norris was up there. Kamel, quite a few 50-goal scorers. And then for the defense, Torrey Krug, goddamn, Provorov, Drysdale, John Carlson still killing it. And when it comes to the goaltenders, Carter Hart was the winningest. Only had 1 shutout on the year, though, so probably going to drop the scoring a little bit. And then the shutout leader was with 5, Bishop and Rodrigue in Edmonton. Not too bad. But yeah, in terms of save percentage, it is likely to be Carter Hart, who just won the Vezina, unless they give it to Shesterkin instead, which they might. And you know what, for the hell of it, because some people like to know. Quite a few goalies with points. 1 goalie with a goal. Ukko-Pekka Luukkonen. The rookie race went to Braden Yeager. 51 points in Anaheim. Jeremy Wilmer was up there as well. So with that, we know our fate. We are taking on the Vancouver Canucks in the first round. I thought I would get to the playoffs in this episode. I'm going to hold off, man, because, of course, there's a couple of things I want to know from you guys. And, yeah, that way, too, get that input, whether or not it be kind of what settings we should run in terms of scoring. What should that 4th line be as we get ready for the playoffs? Who should be involved? But we will be taking on Vancouver in round 1. Can we finally make it out of the first round? That is an entirely different question. But regardless, I thank you for watching. Let me know what you think down in the comments about everything we just mentioned. Drop a like on the video. Subscribe if you haven't already done so. Do it, please. Thank you. Check out everything in the description, of course, if you have not already done so. And a shout out to my patrons on Patreon. There is a new franchise mode episode over there for you as well today. I will see you all next time. Until then, have a good one. Take it easy. Goodbye.